The last 2 months have certainly been cold compared to average across the state. And now that another decade is in the books, it's time to update those climate averages, more commonly known as normals, including both daily and monthly temperature and precipitation. Now, by international agreement, climate averages are computed using 30 years of data, specifically the 3 most recently completed decades. So, since 2001, we've been using normals computed from the period 1971 to 2000. For the new normals, we'll use 1981 to 2010, replacing data from the 1970s with data from the decade just completed. Now, in Pennsylvania and the U.S. in general, the 70s was a relatively cool decade on average compared to this past decade, and so most temperature normals will be going up a little. As an example, here's the average monthly temperatures in Harrisburg for January, April, July, and October, 1 month from each season, computed using the period 1971 to 2000. So these are the numbers we've been using the last 10 years. Now, here in red are what the new normals will be. And notice they will all go up by a few tenths of a degree. Not much, but that'll happen in all the months, probably for all locations in the state. As far as changes in precipitation normals, here's the numbers for those months in Harrisburg based on 1971 to 2000 data. All are between 3 and 3.5 inches. And now here's what the new normals will look like when we replace the 1970s with the most recent decade. January will go down a little bit, April stay about the same, July and October will go up a bit. So the changes won't be uniform across all the months. Now, whereas monthly normals are truly averages of 30 years of data, there's a subtlety to the way daily normals are done. For example, here are the normal daily highs in State College for each day in February. And notice that they don't vary much from day to day, just a slow increase from 33 to 40 as the month progresses. Now, in reality, this is not what you'd get if you averaged 30 years of data for each day. Here's what those raw averages look like. There's a lot of variation from day to day because 30 years isn't long enough to smooth out the weather variations that occur on any given day from year to year. So you get some peaks and some valleys. The National Weather Service doesn't want the normals to be changing in such an irregular way from day to day, so they smooth these out to produce the daily normals that are used operationally and reported on TV each day. According to the folks at the National Climatic Data Center, it'll take the first few months of 2011 for all the data to trickle in that's needed to update the normals, and the first wave of number crunching will take until about July. Then they'll need a few months to put all the new normals online, and they estimate they'll be publicly available in the fall. And by the way, though I've used the term normal throughout this piece because that's the common terminology, I really try hard in practice to avoid using the term simply because it gives the false impression that the average is what usually or normally happens or what you should expect to happen. Paul Knight is back with the extended forecast next.
311.